So before we get into today's episode, I want to share something that's genuinely made a difference in how I run my own business. Now, for years, I organised my business using a paper diary, and that worked. Till one day, it didn't work. And so, of course, I made some mistakes that I regretted. Then in 2020, I discovered Squeegee app, an app that has been designed by window cleaners for window cleaners. Squeegee app has been a lifesaver. It handles my schedule, my client listing, helps me to very quickly reschedule repeat clients. It even has features like invoicing and quoting built into the app. So there's a lot less time spent catching up on the admin. So if you're ready to work smarter, grab Squeegee app using my discount code that you'll find in the show description below. It's what I use every day in McRae's window cleaning here in Australia. Well, welcome back to the Window Pro podcast, and in this second episode of our chat with David Baker from newbie Window Cleaning in Adelaide, we've got a few interesting business tips that we want to share with everybody that comes from the 40 years in business that David has under his belt. So, David, thanks for joining us again. Over the years that you've been in business, what have you learned about setting boundaries in your business activity?
Setting boundaries with customers or with myself, because that's an interesting question.
Well, why don't we talk about firstly with your customers and business, and then how that might relate to your if you feel it relates to your personal activity.
Yeah, so
then let's share that too.
In the first episode, we got a bit in depth and probably more of a personal point of view and where I actually came from in life and why I am. And I don't apologize for any of that stuff. Boundaries, interesting one. Again, it comes down to me and my ethos and who I am. And interestingly enough, I've had some customers, some of my commercial customers tell other customers, look, take David for what he is. He's very passionate about what he does. He knows as much about window cleaning as anybody else. He's a bit set in his ways. He's a bit stubborn. But what it says on his shirt, and my logo is our passion is your vision, which I believe my daughter's close to getting that. I forgot what the phrase is, but yeah, we tried to get that copyrighted. And it is our passion is people's vision. And sometimes I've banged heads with OHS people. And so I don't suffer fools. And I wouldn't tell a facility manager how to run his facility. And I've had that happen where they've come to me and they've said, oh, we want this and we want this. I said, well, yeah, but I go this way around the building for a reason. I don't go this way around to be awkward. I go this way around because of the flow of the building. And sometimes you do have to suck it in. And I've had schools ask me to do a particular building which is way over the other side of the campus, and I've had to bite my tongue, and because I've had to move everything. Pick the lads up and go, right, we're moving over here. And it's just, again, we've talked earlier, I've never been diagnosed, but when it comes to setting up a building, there must be something and setting up a site, there must be something in me that goes, right, this is how we're going to do it. And it does change. Window cleaning is, for want of a better phrase, is fluid. You do have to accept change.
Yeah.
I heard something someone asked the other day about a customer that they got online, and I think the consensus were, um, if you want a happy life, you can in this game choose your customers.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Without a doubt, you can choose your customers. And again, without being disparaging, there'll be people out there that will be going and cleaning houses for $50 an hour, and doing jobs for people that are not are never ever going to be happy with the type of job you do, because
Yeah.
there are customers like that. But you learn to work around them. You learn to move on from them in a respectful way as well. You've got to be.
Absolutely.
You got
Yeah.
to be. You got to. I was chatting to someone yesterday, and he sent me a picture, and the house was. Yeah, it needed somebody in to declutter. Their man clean the windows, and but at the end of the day, she treated him well. She paid him well, and maybe by having clean windows, she might go around and clean the rest of the house now.
Can be a
Yeah,
motivation. Yeah.
yeah,
And that's in my interview that with Sam Kelp from the UK, like he's been in business for 25 plus years, and he said it's pointless having the 1 or 2% of rude customers in
that's
your
where I
life
heard it. Yeah,
when you can let them go and just enjoy your business. So that's a clear boundary that you're
yeah,
not going to tolerate that kind of interaction.
yeah.
So, do you set boundaries for when you work? So do you say to people, I don't work weekends, or do you have,
So again, it's a bit of a bone of contention when I've mentioned this. Um, I, I don't do many houses, as you know.
yeah,
I'm solely commercial, and when I price for a house, it's generally I use a generic message that we've got typed up
yeah,
that gives them a scope of work that I work to. It gives them a link to my Facebook page. It gives them a link to my website, all my socials. And in this day and age, if you don't do a good job, people are chasing Google reviews. But what I do say to the houses that I do pick up is, you will need to work with me, because no disrespect, but if a 4 bedroom house at $350 is due on Tuesday morning, but I get a call from an aged care, and they need a clean because they've had some sort of outbreak, especially during COVID, because that's when I picked up the aged care. There's no way am I going to turn down a lucrative job just to go to someone's house. So that's one of the reasons why. It's not that I don't like scheduling. I've got my diary here now, and I can tell you where I'm going to be in November. But I know there's some lads out there that are fighting their schedules because they're getting calls and they're booked into a house at 8 o'clock on the 1st of December. And they want them there on that hour that day. And that's why I talk sometimes to some houses. A bit difficult because I appreciate you going to one individual house, but that's why I talk about this 1, 2, and 3, and 3, 4, and 5 in a month.
yeah,
If you've got a run, for instance, and it's due on the 3rd week of the month, then you should have that run, in my eyes, set up so you could move it
yeah,
to either the 4th week, or and that's why I do what's called 1, 2, 3, or 3, 4, 5. So basically, my monthly work is either in 1, 2, or 3, or 3, 4, and 5, depending on the month. And
yeah,
that means I can actually. So I've just done the Kokoda. I can actually have 5 weeks off, and I actually don't lose any money.
yeah.
It just means for the next 5 weeks, I'm picking up what needs to be done and running into the next round of 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3 of each week of the month, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So you have a very flexible schedule,
Yeah,
but
very
your
flexible.
big commercial jobs always have priority. That's the
Yeah,
boundary you set in your
yeah,
schedule.
and again, especially during COVID, when we was allowed on site, and the hospital as well. Because of the OHS, I have to give them dates, so they are set in stone.
Yeah.
So if somebody phones me up for a house clean and they want it on a particular day, and I've already booked an aged care in, when the clocks go back, I've been known to go and do a house at 4 or 5 o'clock at night, but it's very rare, and it's normally for one of my 5% customers, one of the better customers. And I've already started. I do probably around 30 to 40 houses regular around Christmas time.
Yeah.
And that's got more over the years through word of mouth. And I've already started making a list now of, and it's funny because I tell them, you need to ring me in September. Yeah. And I'll still get a phone call in November. Oh, David, I forgot to ring you. But again, just something else I've done with my aged care. I don't schedule aged care in December and January because I take aged care as you're going into someone's house. Whether it's just a room, you are going into that person's house. As far as they're concerned, they live there. It's their house. They might have health issues. They might have dementia. But you're going to, they've got all their worldly goods in that one room. And so I just figure in December and January, they're not going to want me going in if we've got an heat wave. Yeah. And also it's a busy time of year for me. And the same with June and July. Yeah. I take June and July as like a bit of at 61, you need to rest your body a bit. So I take those 2 months as a bit of a rest time. I try and get away with the wife. I try and get over to Perth to see the kids. So I don't, and again, it's my mind telling me that June and July we're going to have rain. You can go into an 80-bed aged care and 70 of them will say to you, and it's like going to someone's house back in England, what are you cleaning my windows for? It's raining. And you go into an aged care and you get that every second bedroom, even though they're inside and the rain's in a courtyard. Right? And I just figure I'm not going to schedule those 4 months. So literally December through to May is busy for me, really busy. And then August up to, I try to get my aged care finished for November. So that gives me a good 3 weeks then to maybe 1 or 2 houses a day. And you can't do many more, to be fair. If you're doing a house that's taking 3 hours and you got to get to the next one, I keep seeing lads saying they're doing 3 and 4 houses a day. I'd love to go and work with them for a day, but yeah.
And so that's really gives everyone a picture of if you're going to focus on a particular type of window cleaning. So you're doing large commercial, have flexibility about your scheduling, and have clear boundaries set up as to when you do that, how you do them, and that you also have a discussion point in mind with new clients who might come on board. So that's really
and again, I get asked, and I see some flowing into that. There's a few posts. How do you get these commercial jobs? So I mean, if I can answer that, I'm none of my contracts are in writing, and it'd be interesting if anybody watches this, if in Australia, if they want to DM me and we have a chat, if they've got actual written contracts. What I have got is what's called a preferred subcontractor contract. Yeah. So I'm a preferred subcontractor for some facility companies. Yeah. So most of the, I'm giving tips of the trade out here, but most of the large contracts, like the schools, the government prefers to have a one-stop shop. Yes. So they use a facility company. The private schools, they prefer to have a one-stop shop. So they use a facility company that would supply, and the shopping centres, they don't normally have their own cleaners. They have a facility company because it's a one-stop shop. And so to get the larger contracts like that, you need to firstly create the ethos that people want to use you.
Yes.
Yeah. Build up a reputation of doing a good job.
Yeah.
You cannot suddenly set up a window cleaning business, which is so easy now. So easy. AI, you can build a website on your own. You can do all this. And it's interesting because you can tell who has sort of done that with the pictures they're using, because they've plagiarized the pictures, because it's generally, I've seen pictures of people cleaning windows with squeegees that you wouldn't use in your shower on people's websites. And they think they're just going to attract a big commercial job. And you will find that, I would say 95, maybe 96, 97% of commercial jobs are actually run through facility companies.
Yeah.
And if you want to get them, if anybody's listening, you become what's called a preferred subcontractor.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, just a quick reminder, this episode is powered by Squeegee app. It's the tool that I use to handle all of my scheduling and customer relationship management. And it even has features like invoicing and quoting that can really make the organising of your business so much more streamlined. In the show description of this episode, you'll find a discount code for Squeegee app. Try it. You'll really, really appreciate the help it will provide. Now, taking a different direction here, with all of your experience, I've got a question that I ask all of my guests, and I think it's an important one. If a newbie window cleaner saw you working and walked up to you and asked for some advice, what are the top 3 tips that David Baker would give to a brand new window cleaner?
So anybody that's sort of followed me online will know my first one. And I think Brock from Window Cleaning World talked about this, is go and work with someone. I think I said this in the previous conversation. Go and work with someone. You will learn so much. And if possible, go and work for various people over a couple of year period, if possible. The young lad that's worked for me for 5 years went off last year, at the beginning of last year. So this is his 2nd year, and he's now a level 1 IRATA abseiler. And I share him with PRA Russell here in Adelaide. So he's learned other skills. Funnily enough, Russell uses Sobo, so that's handy for him. But he's learned other skills. He's probably learned more laddering skills than what I would actually have taught him. Because generally, me being me, I did most of the laddering that we do. And him being only, like I said, I picked him up when he was in year 10, 11. His dad asked me if I'd give him a job. And then he left school, did a year at uni. And now this is his 2nd full year out of uni to concentrate on his little business that he's got on the side, doing filmmaking. But so that's the first one. Go and work from someone.
That's a good one. What's the second one?
Second one, it's not business. It's more lifestyle. Look after your body.
Oh, okay.
Without a doubt, look after your body. Without a doubt. I think I mentioned this as well. Something I've never done. I've broken wrists from climbing trees, not from window cleaning. I've broken ankles from slipping off a ladder, slipping down a staircase. I broke a back. I broke my 12th vertebrae in my back, but I never looked after my body. I'm not sure if the word physio was invented in 97 when I broke my bike. They sent me home with a brace on and a A4 piece of paper, and I was back cleaning windows 5 days later. Now I've been to the physio this morning. I've actually just had a remedial massage, which Mark Nichol got me into. I try and do a bit of yoga. I love the gym. I've become a bit of a gym junkie. I've dropped from 105, 106 kilo to 90 kilo. Look after your body. There are tools out there that help that as well. From a window cleaning, I know that Sobo is not ergonomically good on your wrist. I know that. I know that the wagtail that Willie invented and Peter sells is super ergonomically smooth for cleaning windows. Might not be my choice. I've got one.
Yeah.
I don't keep it simple. I must admit. Right? I use the acronym KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Right? But I've got the tools. They are there. If I've got a new lad that wants to come along and I give it him and he tries it, I don't put it in his mind that I don't like it. I just go, right, this is what we use. Here's this kind of tool. Try this kind of tool. And again, if they come back and use Sobo, that's up to them. If they want to use the Wagtail, that's up to them. I don't carry other brands because I don't need them. But I have got a Wagtail.
But ultimately, it's so that whatever tool you use, protect your body.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Do some yoga, do some stretching. I stretch every morning, even if it's just getting out of bed and it's mentally I don't realize I'm doing it, but I do a stretch as I'm moving out through the house. And I leave most mornings, I leave between 5 and 5:30 because I can get 50% of my work done before 9 o'clock, which suits me. If I'm on a big aged care, I've got a mentality where we go, and a school, we go hard, so that if it's a 3-day site, day 3 becomes a finish at lunchtime.
Yeah.
Some people would probably prefer to do 8. I'm happy to do 10, 11,
4.
7, 8, 9, and then 4 on that 3rd day.
Yeah.
To get home. And that's just, again. So
what's your 3rd tip?
My third tip. Can I think about that? That's my 3rd tip.
Some of the guests say invest in the right tools. What's your thought on that one?
That's interesting because obviously when I started, it was a bucket,
a
squeegee, mop, a couple of pockets, soft pockets. I did use a Boab, a bucket on a belt, and a scrim cloth. Now you can invest thousands in tools and thousands in tools that you probably won't even use. My third tip would be, and for some reason it doesn't seem to happen here in Adelaide much. I see it happening around Perth and I see it happening around Melbourne, but build up a network of like-minded people, other window cleaners. Build up a good network of other window cleaners. There's enough glass in the world for none of us to be worried. We might all sometimes show it online, but there is enough work and enough glass to warrant building up a network. Again, I know a lad this week that's been out with a very accomplished window cleaner, and he wanted to learn how to water-fed pole above 3 and 4 stories. And he spent the full day, and he was, I won't mention brands, but we were talking that night, and I thought he was talking about his wife, the way he was going on about this pole that he used, because I swear to God, he would have kicked his wife out of bed that night and slept with the pole, the way he was waxing lyrical. I mean, and he loved it. He absolutely, and the lad that he went with didn't have to do what he did. But he opened his business to someone that it would take 1,000,000 years for him to even, he wouldn't even think about overtaking that business, if that makes sense. And I think the third tip would be to build up relationships with like-minded window cleaners and be open to going and helping, and that's something I've tried to do here. I've tried to do that when I've seen posts, and it's funny. I don't know whether it's Adelaide, but I've reached out to window cleaners here. Whether they've took me wrong, I don't know. Over the 2, 3 years that I've been online and I've used the KISS acronym and I've used the phrase TikTok instead of TikTok. It's weird because, but there'll be maybe 3 or 4 out there that if they were honest and open, they'd say, yeah, Pom or Dave, whatever you want to call me, yeah, he's been good for me.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that because in my interview with Byron Guest, who we both know in Perth, one of
Yeah,
his tips was exactly like yours. Build a relationship with other window cleaners in the area so that you can work together and it's a good relationship to have. So it's interesting that like Byron's been in the game, I think 15 years, that you've got the same approach, that having that connection with people, as you said, there's enough glass for everybody. You don't have to stress about it.
and you
And
mentioned it.
here's an observation I've made over the years, and building on this aspect of a relationship with other window cleaners. If you go to a major city and you're looking for, like, if say you have a daughter and she's getting married, she goes to the bridal street in the city where all the bridal shops are. Why are they all together? Why are all the car dealerships all on the same strip?
Yeah,
Why aren't
yeah.
they scattered all over town?
I've never thought of it like that. Yeah,
But
yeah,
if you don't find a product in this place, you go next door. It's like
yeah,
when I went to New York, I went into the garment district because my wife was a seamstress, and there was just every store was next to each other.
yeah,
If you didn't have it there, you could get it over here.
yeah,
So if we have good relationships as window cleaners, I may not have all the facilities to do an aged care, but I'll say, hey, Pommy Dave does, and talk to him. And
and
you hope that reciprocates because then if there's a big house and you don't want to do it, hey, Duncan will do it. So
yeah,
that sharing builds confidence in the industry, not only amongst us, but I've found when I do that, it builds confidence in the client's mind that I'm prepared to share.
yeah,
An open sharing mentality, not a scarcity. I think they
and
call it in business an abundance mentality.
yeah.
There's plenty for everybody.
And it harks back to the conversation you had with Peter as well about not retiring and not taking the knowledge with you. If we are out there, and I know Byron's been a big advocate in Perth, and I'll apologise online, but sometimes it seems it's because he wants to sell a certain product. But I know that when he opens it up to window cleaning's catch up, and the first one was a bit of a joke around me going over there to see my grandkids, and that the first catch up we had was with me, and there was 8 or 9 of us there, I think, on that first one, and I think 3 or 4 of them didn't use the brand we're talking about, but the thing is, there around that table there was maybe 3 or 4 crusties. Me, Byron, Mr. Marshall, Peter Thomas turned up. But then there were 3 or 4 young lads around that table that were all, we were picking knowledge up off them.
Yeah.
And I've admit that I've learned new tricks.
Yes.
I've in the last 10 years with the water fed stuff, I've sent a message today to another young lad that I wanted some advice on an harness that I mean, I don't use harness as much, but we do some ledge walking at the hospital. And over the years, I sent a message out to this young lad asking about a certain brand of harness. Mine's 9, 10-year-old, and apparently you have to renew them. And so, yeah, I mean, what Peter said about taking the knowledge with us, if we're out there building a network up of like-minded people for just advice, chatting, mental health, the fact that I mean, it's just mental health, a group of people that can meet up, and if it's once a year, just to have a chat, talk about business. How's it going? Well, I'm struggling. Well, okay, let's have a think.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
That's a really good
something
point.
wrong? Are you doing something? Is there something we can do? can we all chuck you a job one? Do you know what I mean? Just,
Yeah.
just, just from a mental point of view as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the third one would be build up a network of like-minded people
Yeah.
and be respectful. And
Yeah.
sometimes probably my banter maybe comes over, and that's why I use in my opinion, IMO and respectfully said when I put comments up now.
Yes. Yes. And maybe our chat today will go to breaking
Maybe the
down.
two, maybe the two people, maybe the two or three that have took me wrong over the years might see like I say, I wear my heart on my sleeve. We just
Absolutely.
had off camera. We just had a chat, and I'm happy to tell anybody what I turn over.
Yeah.
Right, I will have had close to maybe 8, 9 weeks off this year
Yeah.
because when I do work, I work my socks off. And again, it's another little tip, but if you're pricing, you want to be pricing to the point where that if you have to take 3, 4, 5 weeks off, like myself with this stress fracture, you you want to be pricing so that you can have time and have family time as well. There's young lads out there that have started the families. The one I talked to in Melbourne, he's got two young kids, both the same age as my grandkids. And my time off now is to go over to Perth. And Perth boys, I'll be there in 2 weeks' time if you want to catch up and have a coffee. But yeah, if you're pricing, price so that you can go and do a job.
Yeah.
And if you're working like I work, you might need a day off a week to get the body right. And yeah, so price correctly.
Yeah.
Because like I say, there's a lad I've just for some reason he's just popped up on my social feeds. Got a big beard and he's a traditional window cleaner. He doesn't use water-fed pole, and he's got a little thing going on at the moment about trying to earn £3,000 in. See, I don't know what the rate is anymore over there,
No.
but he's doing it. He's doing it all traditional. He's trying to become a bit of an influencer at the same time. But like he says, his idea is that he wants to get to a point where he can work 3 days a week,
Yes.
so that the other 4 days he can spend with his family.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
life can be short, mate. Do you know what I
That's
mean?
right.
And
Yeah.
we get to this age and you think, and I did it when I first got here. Like I said in my first video, we came here in 2004 with literally nothing after a bad decision I made, not window cleaning. Window cleaning's always been there for me. And it's something I can do well and I can earn good money. And it's only this last maybe 4 or 5 years where I've got to a point with my prices that I can stick a solid 3 days in and take 4 off.
Yes.
Or for instance, this week I've only done 2 days this week, but then next week I'm doing a solid 5 and a Saturday morning. It's public holiday Monday, the week after King's birthday, even though we don't celebrate it in England. And then I'm doing 2 more days, but then I leave on the Thursday to come over to Perth because I'm a big wrestling fan, and I'm there Thursday while Tuesday. Down tools, I might go and see Peter Thomas. But yeah, so the big tip is do some networking, look after your body, and yeah, it can be window cleaning can be a good life without a
Yes,
doubt.
it can. Yeah. Well, they're really good, David. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for this opportunity to have this second episode
Thank you.
and
Yeah,
talk about some of those things. And I really hope that when you visit your grandchildren, you have a good time there.
thank
But I
you.
hope that this podcast interview that we've done, these two different interviews, will go a long way to helping people to really appreciate the experience that you bring to the table.
Thank you.
And people reaching out to you, they may gain some really good tips for their window cleaning business.
I,
So
I, I will I'll take a PM any time of the week, and
yeah,
very rarely do I not answer.
yeah, that's lovely. Yeah,
And happy to strike up a conversation with anybody.
yeah.
And if they take me wrong and we don't build a relationship, I apologise. If we do,
That's
then
part of life as a human.
yeah, yeah.
That's part
So
of life. That we
yeah,
we don't gel with everybody. So
no, we don't.
All the best, David.
Thank
And
you.
we'll
Thank you, sir.
catch up with you soon.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, everyone, for listening to the podcast. I hope you got some real value from today's guest. We know that each guest brings something different to the table, hence the variety in my guests on this podcast. So if you got value from this episode, please share it with a fellow tradie or someone else in business that you think would benefit from it. And please don't forget to subscribe to our podcast through your favorite platform, whether that's on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.